So welcome back to the channel, Richard Murray here. I've got another review coming at you. Adidas Adizero Adios Pro. So just got back, first run in these Adidas Adizero Pro Adios. These things are special, they really, really are special. Wow, just wow. This is a shoe aimed at racing, at marathon racing, and it is an amazing shoe. Put that out there right at the start. Just a disclaimer to go right at the start of this video. I've been sent these shoes just to test out like the other carbon racing shoes that I have tested. And so yeah, this is just my honest opinion on the shoe, how it feels, how it goes on easy runs, how it goes on fast runs. This is the initial review, so I've only done about 2 runs in this shoe, really short runs, so it's just my initial feelings on the shoe. It's not my full review of the shoe. That'll be coming later in the coming months, once I've actually put some good mileage and some speed into this shoe. And yeah, I hope you're gonna enjoy this review with me. If you can go ahead and smash that like button right now, that'll be awesome. It'll help this channel make things grow up a little bit and make us explode into outer space, like I've said before. And yeah, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, if you enjoy sporting videos, reviews, my journey to the Olympics. Go ahead and subscribe if you can and turn on the notifications. That would be sweet. Cool. With that said out the way, let's head straight on to the review. This is my second review of a pair of Adidas shoes. I have tested the Adidas Adizero Pro. If you want to, go ahead and look up on the review here. It's one of actually my first shoe reviews as well. Quite an interesting shoe, that one. It was a little bit of a harder, firmer shoe. I probably aimed at more the shorter distances, I would say. And this one is definitely the type of shoe that I would race in. More of a stack, and definitely something that was a bit softer and I find a little bit better on my legs. Definitely even for training or for speed sessions in that regard. I definitely think this would be a great shoe to go in that direction. So pretty much end of last year, the shoe came out, the Adizero Adios. Remember, just to have the Adios part in it, a lot of people get confused. I think the Adizero Pro, it's all very confusing. I like to just say Adidas Adizero Adios. That's the end of it. The Pro part you can throw in, but it's a lot to say. The shoes names nowadays are getting so long. It's getting very confusing. So if it was just called the Adidas, yeah, Adidas Adios, that would be enough for me. Head on straight to the basics of the shoe. I find the most important thing about the shoe is generally kind of the midsole and the outsole of the shoe. And yeah, so we'll head on to this, literally the shoe. So the foam, Light Strike Pro, which is the new foam that Adidas came out with last year. We see some people racing in prototypes of the shoe. The shoe actually looked like it's not completely finished. So you would kind of think that the outsole of the shoe would have a little bit more grooves in, a little bit more traction, but it doesn't. It almost looks like the same piece of material kind of in the heel of the shoe as it is in the forefoot and the front part of the shoe. So the outsole of the shoe, the stack, it's got a massive stack. I think it's close to 40 millimeters near the rear. I'm tapering down. I think it's about an 8 to 10 mil drop. I haven't 100% checked out there. I think usually Adidas is also 8-10 mil drop in that region. It's not a zero region shoe like kind of Hoka or those ones. It does fit, so the sole of the shoe is extremely soft. It compresses very well. Let's have a look here. You can see the compression, not pushing it too hard. It's extremely soft midsole and kind of outsole to the shoe, which is great. You definitely do feel it while you're running. Another interesting thing about the outsole of the shoe is the heel is not completely flat. So if you have a look here, you can actually see, I'm holding the shoe pretty straight, that the outside of the shoe actually tapers upwards, which I find quite interesting. When I was running, I kind of forced myself to do a little bit of heel striking with the shoe, and obviously you tend to heel strike kind of towards the outside when you land onto your heel and you roll through onto the forefoot of the shoe. I definitely noticed that kind of felt quite nice. It kind of gave a little bit of support to the inside, seeing that the inside of the shoe is higher than the outside of both of the shoes, so it's kind of angled kind of this direction. You kind of land through and roll through nicely through the stride, so that felt pretty good. Within the shoe, on the inside of the shoe, they've got kind of a short carbon plates, I've heard, just kind of in the heel section of this, which definitely does help with the support of the shoe. So when you land, you do kind of feel it is more stable. It's not kind of, you know, a very soft landing, which doesn't feel great. Some of the other shoes are kind of don't have much support on the landing, and because they're so high in the heel, you definitely have quite a bit of pronation, antipronation going on depending on how your running gait is. And yeah, it's quite a nice landing on the heel, quite a soft plush feeling when you land through the foot. And yeah, it rolls through quite nicely. It's got quite a roll up to the front of the shoe, so it kicks up quite a lot to the front. So you definitely do notice if you're on a flat surface when you're walking, it pivots up and actually goes up onto the toe quite a lot, just because of how much it is raised here in the forefoot of the shoe. That is great though. It does feel good. It feels nice and comfortable, and you definitely feel, so it's got rods. This shoe has actually got things they're called energy rods in the shoe. So it's not your usual carbon plate racing flat where they have a plate that runs kind of in the midsole here and kind of tapers down towards the forefoot. This one has actually got 5 carbon rods that actually run here. You can actually, if you push in it here, I can actually feel there's the first rod, there's the second rod, third rod. So you can actually feel where the carbon rods, when you push the shoe, is where it is. I think they're round rods is what they said from Adidas, so they're kind of round rods. And it is extremely stiff shoe. So this is me putting quite a lot of firm pressure on the shoe, and there is no bending. There's no bending to the shoe, which is quite interesting. I mean, a lot of the other carbon shoes, when you push them, it has a lot more flex. This one is a lot stiffer. When you bend the heel, obviously the heel part of the shoe actually does bend a lot easier, but the forefoot part is a lot more springier. So some of the other shoes that I've tested out there, the Vaporfly, the Alpha Fly, those types of shoes, they kind of bend equally almost throughout the shoe. Another thing I noticed with the shoes is that the bigger your shoe is sometimes with the carbon plate shoes, the more flex you're going to get. Different companies have got different thickness of carbon plates, and it's definitely interesting to see whether they change the thickness of that plate depending on how big the shoe is, because if you've got a smaller shoe with a thicker plate, it's going to be much more difficult to bend than a bigger shoe would be that can have more flex in the plate and actually give you more of a rebound depending on how thick that carbon plate is. So that's the outsole and midsole done of the shoe. It feels great on my 2 easy runs. My heart rate was lower by about probably 8 to 10 beats on average, just running at 5 minutes a K, 450 in that region. So I was well under 120 heart rate, which is definitely shows the shoes do help me. Usually I'm at 120 to 130 range. I was well under 120 when I was running, so it felt good. This is the rival of the Alpha Fly, Vaporfly. So some of the professional top runners in the world have run world records and PBs in the shoe. Hence the reason why I really wanted to get my hands on this shoe. You know, if other top runners run faster, I want to test it. I want to see what it's like. So that's the outsole, midsole done of the shoe. Let's head on to the upper of the shoe. The upper of the shoe is maybe the most comfortable upper I have ever run in. Adidas really nailed it when it came to the upper of the shoe. The tongue is not too long. I hate it when you have a tongue that's too long in the shoe. So if you see here, the tongue kind of ends quite low and it's got a curve, and it's got a midpoint here where your tendon of your your shin goes in, or the tendon of the front. So it actually sits nicely in this groove, which is great. And the shoelaces are great. So shoelaces aren't too thick, they aren't too long. There's nothing more annoying than having shoelaces that are way too long. I've got nowhere to put them and they flap around. Very not a big fan of that. I generally tie my shoelaces and I tuck them into the front piece here so they kind of sit nice and smoothly. I don't have any shoelaces running around all over the place. And it's very, very breathable. So this mesh on the shoe is extremely breathable, extremely lightweight. The heel counter in the shoe is great. I have no heel slippage at all. And yeah, overall I'll give pretty much the upper 10 out of 10. Very, very, very happy with the upper on the shoe. The colorway they've nailed on the shoe. I'm very into the bright shoes. So luckily the shoe companies are bringing back the super, super bright shoes. Yellow is my favorite color if anyone wants to know out there. And yeah, that's kind of the upper done, the heel done, tongue, socks, shoes. And yeah, I think the outsole, as I said, the outsole has got pretty much not much tread at all. When I ran it, I didn't feel any slipping. I didn't feel any lateral movement on the shoe. It actually felt very, very grippy. So they must use some Continental. I know Adidas uses Continental rubber. This rubber might be from Continental in some way, which they probably use on racing tires for some racing cars. Just putting it out there. It might be, yeah, might be from Formula One. Who knows? I have no idea. Formula One cars seem to be super, super fast. Perhaps there's some Formula One stuff on this. Who knows? And yeah, so what is the scale? So let's check. This is the weight of the shoe on the scale. I'm probably going to guess it's in the region of 220, 215 grams. I think it'll be in the region of what, 6 to 7, probably 7 ounces is my guess. And weighs quickly here, 231 grams. That's actually a bit heavier than I expected. Yeah, my feeling, how do I rate the shoe? Kind of on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say a solid 9 so far for the first run. Definitely felt good. I did notice my arch got a lot of work. That's one thing with the shoe. When I came back from the first run, I felt like my plantar, my arch on my left foot got quite a workout in the shoe. So there must be a lot of ankle rolling going on from my left ankle. I do kind of an imbalance on the left side. So yeah, kind of to see yeah, whether that gets worse or not during the running. I'll have a look to see to make sure I don't get injured from it. But yeah, I definitely noticed my left arch got a lot of a workout. Sometimes a softer racing flat, you tend to roll in, or, you know, it doesn't have that much support. But yeah, definitely 9 out of 10 so far for the first run. And yeah, that's all I got to say for the shoe. It is amazing. It's great. It's kind of everything I thought it might be. It's probably the closest feeling shoe that I've ever run in. That's similar to the Vaporfly from Nike. And yeah, definitely keen to see how the shoe goes when I put it through its paces, some more speed. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it the like or smash that like button for me. That would be great. And yeah, stay tuned. I got another pair of shoes that I'm busy testing. You haven't seen them yet. I'm going to be making a review of that shoe. Also a carbon plate racing shoe from another brand. Only came out recently. Only 500 pairs made, I heard. So I managed to get my hands on one, and I hope you're going to enjoy that review as well. Everyone as well, stay 1.5 meters, stay corona free, and yeah, hope everyone enjoys it. See you on the next review. Cheers, everybody.